Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I've got something cool for you. I am going to be installing a new FreedomSmith trigger. This is the Pinnacle Pro on the Canik MC9 Prime. And so first question I know that's going to come up is, why would you want to change out a already fantastic trigger? Well, that's a good question. The reason why I'm switching this out is I am so used to the FreedomSmith triggers and the benefits of them that I feel that even though this is a great stock out of the box option, it can be better. And what I mean by that is that the trigger pull to wall is about 1/4 inch. And you ask me, how do I know that? Well, I measured it twice already. I'm gonna do it on camera here too. But if you grab that safety paddle, pull to the wall, that wall is about a 90-degree break. Yep. That wall is a 90-degree break. Boom. And so you've got at least a 1/4 inch of travel before you even hit that wall. Reset, I'll also measure the reset as well. The point of this video is not to show you how to install the trigger, only to show you the benefits of the FreedomSmith trigger over the stock rival type competition type trigger. And don't get me wrong, I've shot, oh my gosh, I've probably put through 500-600 rounds of ammo through this trigger, and I tried to get used to it. I was like, you know, I'm gonna give it a chance. But in the end, I keep going back to the FreedomSmith triggers. And so anyway, I'm going to show you the distance between the two triggers, both the rival type competition trigger, and then how it compares to the distance of the break with the FreedomSmith trigger. Now, there are plenty of videos out there that show you how to install the FreedomSmith trigger. It's pretty easy on this gun. So go check them out, do a search on YouTube or whatever. But yeah, so we're going to see what this break is. And so what I'm going to do, and hopefully I can do this on camera, is I'm going to eliminate the safety paddle portion of it just to see the distance of the break itself, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I am going to actually reverse zero this thing. This is going to be hard with just one hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse zero. I'm going to measure the same exact point for both the FreedomSmith. Okay, so that's where our break point is right there. Okay, and I'm going to give it a little space here. And so I'm going to hold it in the exact same spot, tighten that baby up. And now I'm going to zero. And then I am going to release until I start to see that paddle about right there. So we're talking about 0.24 inches. So if you can see that, 0.24, 0.25. The third time I measured it was 0.2430. The other two times, which I had more control, was 0.25. So you're talking about a 1/4 inch of travel between the point right here until we hit that wall, which is right there. And so it is time to install the FreedomSmith trigger. I'm going to show you, actually let's see what that reset is also. I have not measured that yet. So we're going to do the same exact thing. It's going to be harder to get that on camera, but I'm going to do the best job possible. All right, so zero that out. Right there's the reset. So you're talking 0.0955. So for all intended purposes, we're gonna go 0.01 for reset. For a stock trigger, that's epic. That's pretty nice reset on that. So let's see how the FreedomSmith compares from your break point, hitting that wall, to the reset, and then we'll see how that compares. One of the things that might come up is, well, I know will come up is, you know, if you modify a carry gun with a drop-in trigger, you are more apt to be, in case there is some sort of self-defense scenario, the jury, the court could see this as a modification that you are like more aggressive, or that you intended for something like this to happen, when that is not the case whatsoever. The court will look at, more often than not, if you tampered with any of the safety features of that trigger. And from what I have seen, I'm going to leave a link down in the description of this video that goes over this very issue. And it's the guys at Brownell went through this, and they said that more often than not, that the attorney on the other side will look at the visual modifications to try to sway the jury of, is this gun dangerous, you know? But as far as like inner workings of, you know, trigger modifications and stuff like that, they don't go into the details. They don't go into the facts of some of those things. They might look at the aesthetics of how deadly this gun looks to them. Okay, it's all about emotion. It's about a swaying emotion. And so as long as your trigger drops in and doesn't eliminate any of the safety features, such as that paddle safety, then you know, it really depends on where you live. Are you in a blue state, a red state? Are you facing a liberal judge or more conservative 2A loving judge? So it really depends on the court systems that you're in, and some of those aesthetic things based upon what, and this is what they were saying, the lawyers may use those aesthetic things. For instance, one thing they brought up is that, you know, some guys may have wait for flash, you know, engraved in the tip of their barrel. That's a red flag, dudes. Don't do that. The other thing is, if you're putting on like Punisher logos and stuff like that, the attorneys could use that to sway the jury. So anything that makes you look aggressive during a self-defense situation, that will be used more than a safe drop-in type trigger. And so I'm not a lawyer, but please go look those things up. There's some videos that go over that as well. So, okay, so enough of that crap. Let's go install this trigger, and we will take some measurements, and we'll see how it compares to the stock Rival S competition type trigger. All right, guys, see you in a few minutes. All right, well, I'm back. It took me maybe 20 minutes to from beginning to end to change out that trigger. And so this is the FreedomSmith, and it's looking really nice. I went with the traditional black with red safety paddle, just so it didn't look like aggressive. Anyway, so it serves the function. Again, this is the Pinnacle Pro from FreedomSmith. So let's take a measurement to see what that break point is. And I've already measured a couple of times, and I think you're going to be astounded as to what that sits at. So I'm going to make sure that it's racked, by the way, and pushing that paddle. So right now we are at the break point, and so let me just open my calipers up. I want to take the same measurement. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so now we're gonna zero, and we're going to move that trigger forward, and that's where it sits right there. Stock Rival trigger that came with the Prime, the break point was about 1/4 of an inch. It was 0.25, 0.24 for travel before you hit that wall. Okay, the FreedomSmith Pinnacle Pro is, let me see if we can get that, 0.0, oh come on, straighten out, 0.09.45. And I'm going to take that measurement again because I just can't believe it. This is my 3rd time measuring this thing. And so let's get back on it. We're at the same point in the back strap. We're going to 0, and then we're going to let go of the scale, let it travel forward, and that's it right there. Try that again. I just can't believe that is zeroed and let it travel forward. Yeah, it's 0.9, 0.10. I'll show you that one. And so tilt it forward, 0.10. So the travel is, it changes by 0.15, 0.16, somewhere in that range. And now we are reset already. Let's get to the wall. We're there. I want to re-zero. Let it creep forward, reset. Right there. 0.10. So essentially the reset on this trigger is the same as the stock trigger. However, the travel from safety to wall is significantly decreased, which lends itself to a more accurate shot. If you think about it, I don't have to pull so far back. I know exactly where that wall is with this FreedomSmith trigger, and it is like 0.09, 0.1, something like that. So it is like 0.15, 0.6, 0.16 difference in trigger pull. It does not change the trigger weight. Let me just let you know about that right now. The trigger weight does not change. That's an internal spring thing. And so, again, I'm going to hype these guys up, FreedomSmith. I just love their triggers. The ergonomics of them are phenomenal. And they've got different types. They got the Fat Daddy, they got the Pinnacle Pro, they got the Racer, stuff like that. And so this is the Pinnacle Pro. I have one on my other, one of my other Caniks, and I just love the ergonomics of it. So, much more accurate in my opinion. And the take up is, before you hit that wall, is just so nice. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you got a little bit of information from it. So anyway, carry safely, be on your toes, watch your six, all that good stuff, guys. Have a great day.